It is time right now for another episode of the About Mansfield Consumer Advice Series. I'm your host, Steve Casillo, and right now, you're either watching the video or you're listening to the podcast. We appreciate you being here today. And as we do every Friday, we bring in our financial guru right over there. That would be Phillip Washington Jr. Say hello to the Mansfieldians.
How's it going, Mansfieldians?
Today, as we do every Friday, we deliver a 10-minute nugget of information. Today's topic is what affects the value of your business. Yes. And I guess really breaking it down to what are the different aspects, or in this case, assets of your business. To you once you determine your assets, it helps determine the value of your business.
Yeah. So if you you can break your business into different components or different assets, right? So you have like the tangible assets, things you can touch. That's like machinery, equipment, real estate. Intangible assets is intellectual property, brand, contacts, contracts, licenses.
Name of the podcast.
Name of the podcast. Yep. Financial assets are stocks, bonds, cash, and last one is proprietary software and technology. Think of like Apple's iOS system, super valuable part of the company.
Okay.
And so once you break out the assets, because what happens too in a business is if a business is bought, sometimes you're not going to buy the whole business. Some people might just buy different assets of the business, right? So the business is the sum of its parts. And so it's important to understand the different values of the different assets in the business, right? And then what causes them to change, because they do change over time, right? The one thing that's constant in the world and universe is like change is always happening. And if your business, different components are not changing with the time, then it's going to affect the value of your business.
Does it ever happen where a person, an entity, a company will come in and purchase a company in its entirety only because they want 15% of that asset that they hold?
Yeah, like in different companies there are as many strategies for companies acquiring other companies as there are like thoughts. So for example, there might be a company that might say, hey, this is a competitor, right? It'll cost us I'm making a number, $1 million to compete against them, or we can just, pay $1 million, then get the 15% of the asset. So we get an asset and then we just put them out, and then we shut the rest of it down and put them out of business. So, that's in that example, they get an asset and they get to shut the competition off, and it's a better value than like spending a marketing campaign to compete against them.
Right. So if a company does have tangible assets, intangible assets, the financial assets, but you know what? I'm only interested in the proprietary software. So I'm going to buy this company 100%, close everything else down, and take advantage of the proprietary software.
Yep, that happens all the time.
All right. Let's talk about some fundamental foundational principles.
Yeah, so here's the foundational principles that can help you understand the evolution of business assets, right? The first one is like change or evolution is the only constant, right? That's the only constant,
right,
in the universe, right? And the other principle that builds on top of that is everyone and everything eventually move towards change at their own pace, right? And that's critical in investing, because if you're a business, right, and you are thinking about the value of your business, right, the value of your business is predicated on your ability to deliver to the market what they want, right? And what they want is changing, right? But you are changing with the market. And so if you're not changing with the market, then your perceived value is being less and less relevant and valuable to the market, right? Principle number 3, people and teams that help minds move through the change get rewarded emotionally and financially, right? That's huge. Like an example of that might be podcast Mansfield, right? The way that you market and distribute your business is changing. And so the businesses that are in the middle of helping businesses onboard that change and navigate that change easily and better are getting rewarded. And they're going to get rewarded more and more and more as time passes, because everybody has the process change at a different level and a different speed.
Well, I believe it was the great philosopher Bob Dylan who said the times they are a-changing. And as the times change, you have to adapt to those changes.
Absolutely, right?
There we go.
Absolutely. And the last principle is change is initiated by creativity, right? So meaning like we all, as humans, we're always doing the same things, right? We're doing the same things. We're making stuff, we're providing services or receiving services. Digital items or non-physical items are a relatively new thing, but entertainment is a old thing. So we're always doing this, building our economy around the same things. But the way that we experience them changes as there's more creativity, right? And so creativity or new ideas are what moves and evolves the market. And so if you're a business where you fall in love with your way of doing things, you're like, hey, this is the way that we did things to get the 10 million in revenue, right? And you look up and all of your clients are 72 or 62, right? That's cool, but like, how relevant are you to the 32-year-olds and 42-year-olds that are becoming the new buyers of your business, right? Because that's going to determine the longevity of your business, right? So if you're not changing with the times of where the world is going, then like the value of your business is going to not be very attractive to anybody who you want to sell it to in the future.
And if your clients are 62 or 72, there's a definite ending to that to your business. That as your business as your clients get older, and there's going to be an end to it. But if you as you stay relevant and start adapting or attracting the younger, it lengthens the life of your business.
Absolutely, yeah. I call it thinking like an actuary, right? Life insurance companies stop writing life insurance policies after a certain age because it's just not profitable, right?
Right.
And this is not meaning to be like ages. Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger worked till 90. I'm just talking in probabilities, right? In probabilities, right? People are spending less, they're working less, right? If you're building a business and you're saying, I want to build a business that's going to grow in value over time, right? But you're not factoring in the newer generations into the deliverables you offer the marketplace. Terrible idea, because if you're not relevant to them, your business is not going to grow because the trend of your current clients and their spending power and what they need is going to go down over time.
Right.
And so with the value of your business.
Let's talk about some creative, evolving abilities.
Yes. So making things, right? Industry, right? That's changing with the advent of artificial intelligence, robotics, 3D printing, right? So if you're making things and you are not looking in these areas, I think it's a very big mistake. Performing actions for someone or something like a service, right? Restaurants, finance, healthcare, consulting, right? AI is becoming a big thing for this, but also convenience, like, if having Zoom as an option to providing services, having different sorts of, user-friendly software, right, is important, right? But as a service, it's helping your clients interact with you faster with less resistance is very important as a service-based business, right? Making non-physical things is like super attractive, super profitable, something that came with the digital age where you can, have a newsletter, or you can, NFTs, which are not being used at scale yet, but they will be, where you can pre-sell, let's say you want to do an event in 2024, a conference, and you don't yet have the money to do the conference, but you have a decent following of people who want to hear the conference, right? Well, you can just create some NFTs, right? Pre-sell the tickets to your community, right? Get the money to deliver the conference, right? And then sign them up for tickets once all the details are set up with the NFT that they collected, right? Super simple, easy way to do it, right? But it didn't take you any money to create the product. You just got to pay a developer to do it, or you
Right.
can figure it out. It's not that difficult, but
And the end user becomes the early bird,
and the end, yep,
and they get the benefit of being the early bird,
yep,
almost like a concert pre-sale.
yeah. And these are super simple ways that, like 5 years ago, didn't exist. But if you're a business and you're going, that sounds too hard, fine, but understand that the value of the perceived value of your business goes down relative to other businesses that are doing that more and more in the future, right? So,
In the minute that we have left, what's the recap? What's the close on this before we get into your contact information?
yes, the recap on this is if you own a business and or you're looking to invest in businesses, private or public, right? You understanding the dynamics of the changing values of business in a fast-changing world are important because past performance does not indicate future performance, meaning the next decade is going to be way different than this next decade. So you want to factor it into your valuations. And if you own a business, you want to factor it into your operations if you want to maintain the value or increase the value of your business over time.
If someone wants to maintain or increase the value of their business, or at least find out the avenue of going about doing it, how do they contact Phillip Washington Jr.?
Best way is stonehillwealthmanagement.com. We do financial planning and consultant for businesses doing 1 to 20 million of revenue.
Hey, you know what next week is?
What's next week?
When we do this episode next week, it is our last episode for the year.
That's true. Yes. Yes.
All right.
That's exciting.
So we'll see you next week, and thanks for being here.
Is it going to be Christmas before we meet? Merry Christmas if I don't see you. Can't remember.
No, it'll be the 22nd next week.
Okay.
So we'll say Merry Christmas next week.
Let's do that.